video for 11.5. We're going to look at some more angles with respect to circles, and we're going to look at one. This is actually a repeat of what we did last time, so just a refresher. If we have an angle whose vertex is on the circle, remember that the angle formed is half of the arc. Now this picture looks a little funky because like the angle opens up like with part of it in the circle, part of it out the circle. That's okay. This angle right here is still half of that arc measure. So I could say the measure of angle ABC is half the measure of arc A to B. Okay? All right, so if we use that, right, this is not, so if I'm given the angle, right, so 100 is equal to half of whatever x is, because x is that arc it opens up to. So I can figure that out just by multiplying both sides by 2. So 200 degrees is that arc measure for x, okay? This one they give me the arc, right? So remember, if it's on the circle, my vertex on the circle, this angle is half of that arc measure. So the measure of angle 1 is half of 120, which remember is the same as just 120 divided by 2, which is 60 degrees. So the measure of angle 1 is 60 degrees. Okay, all right. I'm going to leave those couple for you guys. All right, now we're going to look at what happens when my vertex is just inside the circle. It's not on the center, so it's not a central angle. It's just somewhere else in the middle of the circle. So what happens here, you guys, is when I have like chords intersecting, or it could be secants as well, we kind of get these two angles, right? Those are vertical. They're going to be the same. And what that angle is it's actually half the sum of the two arcs that intersect. So we got this arc as well as this arc. So we're going to add those two arcs together and multiply by 2 or divide by a half, however you want to think about that. So this angle is equal to half the two arcs added together. So let's try that. So this one, angle 1 is equal to half 44 plus 86. And again, this happens because my angle is inside the circle, not on the center, but somewhere inside. Okay, so I'm going to do 44 plus 86, and then I like to just divide by 2 for the multiplying by 1/2, so I get 65 degrees. So I'm going to write that. I had 130 times a half, which is the same as dividing by 2, so angle 1 is 65 degrees. Okay? All right, this one, we're going to find angle 1 and angle 2. So angle 1 is the one that kind of opens up to these arcs. So angle 1, our vertex is inside the circle, so it's equal to half these two arcs added together, right? So this is actually the same problem, you guys. We're just going to find angle 2 now. So we said angle 1 from this part was 65 degrees. So then how do I find angle 2? Well, those are a linear pair. They're on a line together. So I'm just going to do angle 2 is 180 minus 65. Those two have to add to 180 if they're on a line together. So then angle 2, 180 minus 65 is what, 115 there? So there's angle 2. Okay. Oh. Next one. Okay, another theorem, you guys. So we did on the circle, inside the circle, and we have one for outside the circle. If we have chords or secants intersecting outside the circle, which actually these will always be secants because, or tangents, chords are always in the circle. If they intersect outside the circle, it's kind of similar, but instead half the sum, adding the two arcs together, it's half the difference. And we're always going to do the bigger arc minus the smaller arc because angles for us in circles, these measurements are always going to be positive, okay? So angle 1 is outside the circle, okay? So it is equal to half, and we're always going to do, so there's kind of two arcs. So we can see where it intersects there, okay? There and there, sorry, I should say. Okay, so this is the big arc, and then this is the small arc. So big arc minus the small arc, 78. And that's how I find that angle 1 that's outside the circle. So again, 202 minus 78, sorry, glare there, 202 minus 78. So I get 124, half of, 124, not 125. And then half of that. So remember that means dividing by 2. So if I divide that by 2, we get 62 degrees. So angle 1 is 62 degrees. Okay, we're going to find angle 2 is talking about this angle right around F, you guys. So we're going to find angle 2. So angle 2, again, it's outside the circle. So it's the big arc it opens up to minus the small arc. Half of that. So half of 280 minus, okay, so they don't give us an arc measure here. So we're like, what is that arc, right? What is that arc right there? Because I need to do 280 minus that to get this one. Well, this is the entire circle. So 280, if I do 360 minus 280, that'll give me the rest of that circle, which is 80 degrees. So this part, I'm just going to write that there. The arc measure from E to G, we got by doing 360 minus 280 and got us 80 degrees. Okay, so now I can do 280 minus 80, which is 200, and then half of that is 100 degrees. So angle 2 is 100 degrees. Okay, all right, a couple more. I'm gonna have, actually I am gonna do, yeah, we will actually do these ones. Okay, find ABE. Okay, so they want me to find this one. Now the angle that I see around that is inside the circle, so this is gonna be half of the two arcs added together, okay? Now the angle it's talking about is actually this one, because this is the angle that like opens up to those two arcs. So once I get X, then I can do 180 minus that to get ABE. So my two arcs it opens up to are 65, 37. Okay, and this is for getting X. Okay, so we've got 65 plus 37. So 102 divided by 2 is going to give us X is 51 degrees. So then to get our question mark, so measure of angle ABE is the one I want. Well, now that I know this is 51, I'm going to do 180 minus 51, which is 129 degrees. All right. Third example here. Find X. Okay, so X this time is actually the arc measure. So I have an angle outside the circle. These are the two arcs, big arc, small arc, that it kind of opens up to and intercepts. So outside angle is equal to the big arc minus the small arc, half of that. So 83 minus X. Okay, so what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to get rid of this fraction. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of that. So now I have 50 equals 83 minus X. Now I'm going to subtract 83. So I get negative 33 equals negative X. Remember, that's like a negative 1X. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 to get rid of it. So 33 equals X. All right. Next, they want me to find the arc. Sorry, that should say the measure of arc LP. So they want me to find this one. And I'm told LR is 100. So this whole arc measure is 100. We're also told that this is 26 degrees. So this one I can actually set up very similar to what we just did here. If I could find from P to R, call that X, then I could do 100 minus that to get LP. So the measure of L to P is going to be 100 minus whatever I get for X. So X, same setup we just did on number 3. The outside angle is 26 degrees. It's equal to half the big arc it opens up to, so 80 minus X, which is the small arc. So again, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So I get 52 equals 80 minus X. Subtract 80, we get negative 28 equals negative X. Again, that's like a negative 1X. Divide by negative 1. So we get X. So now I'm going to put that right there and do 100 minus 28. And we get 72. So LP to 100 minus 28, which equals 72 degrees. think that was it. Let me just double check, you guys. Yep, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching.